Dun, dun, dun. Hello and welcome back to another HABA stream. We are here. We're here with Markus and Robin, and we're going to talk about game development at HABA. So Markus and Robin are game developers at HABA Germany in the headquarters that are in Bad Waldorf. And you two are actually, you're not in Bad Waldorf right now, but you're in Germany. You both are in Coburg, yeah? No.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I just wasn't sure. So yeah, and it is 6 p.m. where you all are.
Yes.
So
right. Yes.
I'm getting good at this. It's been like 3-4 days of Actually, we've been talking so much for the last couple of weeks, like planning all this and getting all these streams ready. So I'm really happy that this has worked out. And thank you so much for giving part of your Saturday to HABA USA's Gen Con.
It is a pleasure, believe me.
Yeah, it's been super fun playing with you and hanging out with you. And we actually just finished a Monza. We called it Monza in the Morning, our new Saturday morning show. But we just played the 20th anniversary edition of Monza, and Robin smoked us.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Man, I was on fire.
Yeah, Markus, you started with a really good lead. Like your first turn was super impressive, but then you got caught up.
Good.
Yeah, and I had a good middle of the game blast, and I pulled ahead of Robin. I thought I would be able to block him, and
second half wasn't your strong one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. So if you're interested in watching that video, you could go and find it either on our YouTube, or if you're watching on Twitch during Gen Con Online or immediately after Gen Con Online, you could probably still find it in the HABA USA Twitch videos and recent streams. Otherwise, it will be available at HABA USA's YouTube channel. So we do have some people filtering in slowly this morning. But what is today's focus? What is this stream's focus, I should say, because we're streaming so much today. So this stream, you two have a presentation for us.
Yeah, exactly. We will show you how we will do a game.
Yes.
How we did all the games we did. Yeah, but it shouldn't be a presentation. We're happy for questions and yeah.
Yeah.
And
so we definitely.
It has to be a lecture. Exactly. All the holes you leave us, we will fill with things we want to tell you. But ask questions. We're really interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, so we're excited. So if you're in the chat, you can go ahead. If you're on the chat in YouTube or Twitch, you can go ahead and leave comments and questions and things like that. And we'll try our best to answer your questions and work that into the broadcast. At the same time, we also, if we have time, we have one more Essence Spiel digital release hiding in the corner of Markus's living room that maybe we can get to. Yeah. So awesome. All right. Well, I don't know. Did you all have a screen that you wanted me to put up on for the broadcast?
Yes, I will share my screen. Let's see. Okay.
And just as a reminder, just in case you all have been watching along, we are doing another Karuba play along immediately after this stream. So if you're interested in playing Karuba with Markus and I, we will be immediately after this stream. We're going to spin up a game of Karuba and we're going to do another Karuba play along. You don't need your own copy of Karuba, but if you do have one, you can pull that out and play it. I know Markus and Robin played their real world digital version or real world physical versions. I like to play on Tabletopia so I can screen share. If you'd like to play with that, you can also print out a print and play file, which is available at the HABA website. So if you want to play with the Karuba play along, you want to do the pen and paper version, go ahead and head over there and print out the print and play. Otherwise, you can grab a link to a Tabletopia room in the future from the HABA Discord. The HABA Discord has so much fun stuff happening in it today. So many games, game demos, full game demos, and Tabletopia and all that kind of stuff. So you can find a link to that on the webpage that I linked onto the screen, so you can go in there and explore the Discord. We have so much to offer this weekend at Gen Con, crazy amounts. And while I'm blathering about everything we're doing, we also have a great Gen Con coupon And not mentioned here, we do have the Gen Con exclusive HABA USA Unicorn Glitter Luck pin that is available on the website. If you can buy the pen for $5 a piece, or you can go ahead and get that pin for free with any purchase of $25 or more. So there is that whole marketing spiel.
Okay, so I don't see you anymore. I see now my screen of the presentation. Do you all see it?
Yes, it is up on the screen. Oh, this is great. I'm so excited.
Perfect.
I have no idea what you all are going to present. I haven't seen the presentation, so I am very excited. All right.
Okay. So I will start, and we will, once I have done some slides, Robin will chime in, and we do it together. So this is a presentation, how we do it, how we do our games. This is so here you can see our time structure, and in the following minutes we give you an insight into our editorial department, explain how HABA games are developed, and me and Robin are editors in this department. Mm-hmm. So what do you see here is
really quickly. So I just wanted to do some clarification, some translation of terms as you're going along. So when you all talk about being editors, from that standpoint in the US game industry, we would consider you game developers.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just, it's a minor. Yeah. So I just wanted to, every once in a while, I'll just chime in with what the equivalent is or what we call that in the US. So we do. Yeah. So you all are going to go over the game development and manufacturing process that you all do as game developers at HABA. But you do a lot of stuff because you also, like you're going to show, you're in charge of not just the gameplay, but also the manufacturing side of what the game looks like and how it works. So I am super excited.
So we manage a lot of things, and my suggestion is I will stop at each stage of this timeline, and we could see if the chat has any questions about this topic.
Yeah, and I can also, if anybody has any questions, put them in the chat. I will happily interrupt Marcus at any moment to ask them. Also, Robin, if you see a good question or you want to elaborate, just, chime in. So, all right.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
We also said we just do this together. Whenever someone has a good idea, we'll do this.
All right, so let's see. So here's our production process, and the first thing we have is selection and planning. Then we think about the theme. We request different materials from the suppliers. We make the calculation, illustrations. We don't do them. So me and Robin don't do illustrations by ourselves.
You don't draw the games?
I mean, why?
Well, we do for the prototypes. We sketch something, but. But interesting fact, the Critter Cruise is illustrated in-house. So one of our graphic designer illustrated Critter Cruise.
Wow.
And also the author of the game Critter Cruise is also in-house. So this Critter Cruise is really a HABA game. Yeah, in and outside, fully an HABA game.
And again,
it's a true HABA baby.
The author, so an author in German, in HABA Germany, that's the designer, So I like author in the US is more for like books.
I guess.
But I think it still kind of makes sense for designer because you are authoring a story and like a world of a game to play in. So it could apply. It's just people in the US are used to designer.
That is interesting because as well as authors, as well as editors, we just really oriented on the book market for the words in here.
Yeah. All right, and then the next step is my favorite step.
Title finding, yes. And this year we have the best title ever, I have to say. You want to say it, Tiffany?
It's Hammer Time.
Yeah.
The name of the game is Hammer Time. I'm so excited. It's my favorite game, too, that's coming out at Spiel. I'm so excited for that one. Anyway, and then we talk about the instructions or the rule books. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we think about the packaging, and last step question: is it done? We will see later if that's the last step. Okay, so let's start with the selection and planning. So selection and planning is made with the product management in our department. So they have the numbers and everything, which game sells good, which themes sell good, what are the actual trends, and so on. So they might say, well, we need a puzzle game, or we want a game for the cooperative game for small kids. So we keep in contact with them and debate which game mechanics and themes we want to integrate.
Yeah, and this is also Robin,
that is the interesting part. We have kind of two departments that go together there. It's us having all the games of the different designers which we collected and selected, and also the product managers on the other side that says we would like to get that in the market. We really need that right now, and so we try to get together in these points perfectly.
Yeah. And I know you're going to talk more on this one. Yeah, Marcus?
Yes, I will. So I have a few slides on this one.
I'll hold my comments then.
So many game ideas come from external designers. Before I said Critter Cruise is in-house, but a lot of ideas come from external game designers. And some even do this work full-time. Yeah, so a few lucky of them can support their life with creating game ideas. And they all send prototypes to us either by email or by snail mail. And we make a pre-selection. And now I have a question for you all. What do you think? How many ideas do we receive every year?
Yeah. So
I don't see the chat. So Tiffany, what are the numbers?
We'll give them a second to come up with some numbers. So there's like a little bit of a delay. What do you think, how many ideas or how many game pitches do they receive every year? And you all have like a public email address or submission form where people can go online. And we have in HABA USA, we have a website that points to your submission form. Right. And you also take pitches at shows. So you will meet with people at like Nuremberg and Essen and Gen Con. You've been meeting with Gen Con.
Absolutely.
Folks,
I could imagine someone who's right now watching maybe just pitch to us.
This is true. Yeah. And also the game design contest, HABA USA does a game design contest every year, and we will submit the pitches, the finalists from that contest. We submit those to you, and we're not even including the main. So let's say we had 90 entries for the game design contest. We're not pitching all 90 to HABA Germany. I think Markus and Robin would kill me. But the finalists from there will submit. So we have some numbers rolling in. Here we go. All right. So we have 500 plus as a guess, 1,300, 10,000, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 300, 2,500. Yeah. And then somebody actually asks, I'd love to pitch you. Who should I contact? And you can go to, if you look for on HABA USA Game Development, there is a website link on how to do that. So you can follow that link. And then we have another guest, a guess of 10,000. So how many pitches do you all get a year?
A lot of guesses were quite near. So we have 1,500 game suggestions every year.
Wow. And that's just a picture. That's actually a picture of some of the submissions you've been sent.
Yes. So these not all. We don't get 1,500 packages.
Oh, thank goodness.
Sometimes the designers just send in the rules, and we make a first review of the rules and say, okay, that looks nice. Just send a prototype to us. So, but first contact we have is 1,500 game suggestions every year.
Yeah.
And
also For anyone that made a guess, we're playing by Price is Right rules. So the closest guess without going over, which I believe would be this user right here, Lacrave. I cannot say your username. I'm so sorry, but with 1,300 as the guess. So congratulations.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. So, and out of these 1,500 games, we test 600 games a year, roughly. So we sit.
So these are the prototypes that really enter our headquarter.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And this is a sneak preview of, this is actually your game development studio alcove. I've been here. The orange table.
Yes. But this is outdated.
Yeah, we just moved.
Oh, you did? Is the table no longer orange?
Well, we hope we get that table back into our new department. But yeah, we just moved. We're not sitting there anymore.
I'll have to come by next year and visit. I miss. It's a fun alcove. There's so much treasure in there. All right.
Yeah. And so at this table, we sit roughly 1 to 2 times a week together, 4 or 5 developers. We sit together, play games, and test them.
How many? Oh, sorry. We had a question that actually works really well. How many game designers are on the team at HABA, or how many game developers and editors are there at HABA?
Right now, I think we are 10. Am I right, Robin?
To be honest, I'm not sure if we might be 8
yeah,
or
but
9.
Roughly 10.
It is roughly 10 because of course it is fluent. Plus, from time to time, responsibility change. So there, you can really name it, but it's 8 to 10 definitely.
Yeah, and you have to remember, one of the other reasons it's fluid is that at Germany, they have a very fantastic maternity/paternity leave. So there are some developers that are on leave and then they'll come back. So they're still technically employed as developers, but they are on maternity leave for some period. Or the vacation time is very nice as well in Germany. German labor laws are pretty nice. So often there's some people rotating through vacations and things like that. So that was a great question. All right, next. Keep going.
Yeah, so in this test, out of these 600 games, 50 games are published roughly each year.
Yes.
So I cut out one step. So out of the 600 games, we after review we put games into the pre-selection. In the year we test 600 games, but I would say roughly a month of this year is just testing the games that are really good. We want to decide, okay, which of these, let's say 30 games are really good, we want to publish, and about 60 games we're not sure. So we really want to see, okay, which one of these do we publish?
Yeah, and one of the things to clarify is HABA Germany uses a spring and a fall set period. So they basically have 2 production cycles. So this system, this process, they do twice. So they're doing this test twice a year, which is yes. Amazing.
Yeah, normally we have weekly testing hours. So with the coronavirus, we had problems to do that right now. But normally we would have all those testing hours weekly. We know, all right, cool, it's testing time now, and then it's playing for 4 hours from time to time.
Oh no, playing games for 4 hours is work. Oh no.
Yeah, but it can really tire you. If you have to read 10 games, rules of 10 games, and you have to explain it, you have to play those. It is work, but there is definitely worse. Absolutely.
All right. We have some really great questions. I'm afraid if we go too deep into the questions, we'll be a little behind. So I'm going to really quickly answer this one super fast. Have any of your games started life as games designed by children? And the answer to that is yes. I know that a good number of HABA games have been designed by children and then submitted with the parent as like a co-design or something like that. I can't think of an example right now off the top of my head. Do you two know of an example of a recently published game that was designed by a child/parent combo?
No.
I'm I don't have one yet. Sorry.
I know of some in the past.
So we had last year. A boy won our Gen Con contest, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
11-year-old, but sadly it didn't get published. But he won the Gen Con contest.
Yeah. And then you all are going to talk about playtesting, yeah? Or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so let's keep going, and maybe we'll answer these questions already about playtesting.
I just can add, Kids Planning says, wow, 50, that seems a lot. It depends. So as we already said, the product, the department that tells us what we should do in the market from time to time has lower or higher numbers. So it could definitely differ from 30 to 70 each year.
Yeah, and those games go internationally. So some games will only be released in Germany, some will only be released in Asia, some will be released worldwide. I know that, for example, we have these two new Animal Upon Animal games. These are US only. So these count as part of that 50 published, but it's only in the US. So, because you all are publishing and designing for around the world.
By the way, these are my babies. I was responsible developer for those.
Yes, you and I worked very hard on the rulebook. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on. Marcus is like ready.
Okay, I have a lot of slides, so I will speed this a bit up. I will try to speed it up. One more thing about the playtesting. We don't only playtest with our developers, but also with children. So we have 2 kindergartens at the headquarters in Bad Rodach at HABA. And so we take the games, the prototypes, go to the kindergarten and let the children play the games. And these are, I must say, one of the best experiences you have, because you can really tell, okay, this game works for a 4-year-old or it doesn't work. And it's often very surprising what the children find interesting in a game. Yeah, so you can theorize a lot, but you really have to play test the games to get a feel for them.
Abe Underhill asked about that, and then they also asked if there were any U.S. schools that participate, and the answer to that is no. All of the game development happens in Germany. As a matter of fact, to participate in the game development, I often have to fly to Germany and then barge my way into the game development room. But all of the testing and prototyping happens in Germany. They just come over to the U.S. sometimes to do the testing, and then also we do emails and video chats, but the development department is firmly in Germany. Every once in a while, though, Robin or someone will email me, hey, what do you think about this way of saying a rule book? But
not only rulebook wise. We from time to time we also ask the other countries on their opinions, and this is really helpful. Definitely is.
Yeah. All right, next slide.
Okay, I will go. I think I will skip this for the most part. So
really fast. I think this is good fast.
So we specialize on 2 publication dates. So one is the Nürnberg Toy Fair in spring, and one is the Essen Spiel in October. And so we have different focus what games we publish at each fair, because in the springtime people tend to like these bring along games, smaller games, a lot of learning games, because school is starting or kindergarten is starting. So these are the smaller games we publish normally. And in Essen, we publish our highlight games. So our big games with special effects, where we want to perhaps win Spiel des Jahres or Kinderspiel des Jahres. Yeah, so these are the 2 dates we really work for. So I personally, my year is not from January to December, but from October to October. Yeah, so that's my time horizon. Okay. Now here you can see a lot of different things we look for while selecting games. So we want different box sizes, different price points. We want different age ranges, different game mechanisms and themes. And all of this is important because you don't only have to see which games you publish from year to year, but you also have to keep in mind which games get deleted out of the catalog. So perhaps
out of print or discontinued.
Yes,
we do technically
right.
delete them out of the catalog, but
yeah, that's right. So that's again where the product management comes into place and have a nice overview about all this. And of course, there's also anniversary editions like the Monza, or we have product families like the My Very First Games, or redesigns, or trends we want to follow. So there's a lot of factors going in choosing the games.
Mm-hmm.
And why do we do all this? Well, it is fun, honestly. And of course, we want to win the Spiel des Jahres or Kinderspiel des Jahres awards, because they have a huge marketing effect, and I think it's not only in Germany but in the whole world. Because perhaps you can say something about this, and Tiffany.
It's becoming more common that the Kinderspiel des Jahres and the Spiel des Jahres it has more weight in the US. People are understanding that logo means a high quality game, a very good game that works for everybody. Sadly, in the US, people still think the Kinderspiel is a lot of people ignore it in the US, even though, for example, Valley of the Vikings is so much fun, even just with adults. And Dragon's Breath as well. So if you are interested, if you like the Spiel des Jahres and you follow the Spiel des Jahres, I recommend going and looking at what games have won the Kinderspiel as well, because a lot of those are fun for adults as well. And that's actually when the judges judge those awards, they actually consider the parents and adults, like, is this fun for adults or is this just for children? Because if it's something that's too simple and just for children, they're less likely to pick it as the winner. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think I'll give over to Robin, and now you will see some very interesting slides with prototypes, and I think not seen footage perhaps before online.
Cool.
I'll go to the next slide, Robin.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Then, after we have selected the games you want to make for the next couple of months, and after the projects are divided, not divided, but every developer knows which project he will be responsible for. Of course, we will come to the next chapter, where we, of course, work together with the authors. Is it okay? I will just continue sometimes.
Yeah,
with authors.
Just use authors. I already explained it once. Authors as game designers. Just keep using authors.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We will work together with the authors on the game, and of course, everything we change or tweak will be done together with the corresponding author. We will do this in the team. There's always the one who's responsible for the project, and he, of course, has an opinion and he wants to change something. But this will all be done. This will all be decided together in the team and in correspondence with the author.
Yeah. And theme picking is fun. It's a fun one. I think that's a super fun part of the process. All right.
Exactly. That is one of the most fun. First, we skipped some slides here. So first, we look at the package size. We decide, okay, how big do we want this product to be? Because once you get a prototype, it could be that small, and you could still, in your imagination, think, okay, you know what? This is big. We can make this a big game. Right now it's just card, but we can make a cardboard castle out of it. One could do that, or otherwise.
You have done that. There is a game with a cardboard castle. Yeah.
Exactly. We did. It is good. From time to time we get these huge boxes, and you play it and you feel like this game is good, but you know what? This is not more than a card game or something like this. So this is also a huge decision. What package size do we want? What price do we want to put this on? And after this, we talk themes. There is a lot of things that you already know. I mean, of course, there is dragons. Dragons always work. Of course, there's unicorns. Unicorns are awesome. But you always have to adjust to or to see what is right now on the market, what is interesting. So we always have to look, okay, which age range do we have? What is an interesting topic for that very age range? What is our target group interested in? Of course, what is right now trending on the market? Is there something that is really hot? Maybe sloths or hedgehogs. Is it a thing right now?
What was the lizard that you all were talking about yesterday morning during color?
Oh, the axolotl.
Yeah, there needs to be a game about that. We already learned that. There we go. We actually have a question from external submissions. Is there a game type or theme that you get way too often?
Pizza.
Pizza? Really? Pizza?
Yes.
Wow.
I wouldn't say way too often, but there are these things that really come quite often, yeah.
That is, I would never have thought pizza. That is interesting. And now pizza I want pizza. There we go. Good job. All right, then.
but you always have to keep in mind, so in the first step, when we selecting and playtesting the games, sometimes the theme fits very good, but most of the time we look at it, we try to look at it with a fresh mind. So we don't want to judge the prototype by its theme, but by its mechanics. You can you can keep on sending us pizza prototypes.
Yeah, really, absolutely. I mean, from time to time we keep the theme from the prototype. I mean, we're still just human. It is crazy how you are already in the mindset of the theme that is brought to you via prototype.
I'm pretty sure there's never been a HABA pizza game, though.
You might be
you're right. Yeah.
You get a lot of pizza submissions, but there's no pizza game. Maybe you just haven't seen the right pizza.
Maybe we have seen so many pizza games that the first thought is already, okay, what theme can we make for this?
Awesome.
But I think the theme goes along with the next chapter, which is materials.
This is very interesting. Yeah.
This is just the best.
So many options. Many options.
I mean, this is so good. When you get your project and the question is just, what do you want it to look like? What do you want it to be?
Yeah.
And while playtesting, you already have this. Maybe Marcus is sitting there and says like, "Oh, you know what? We can make this like a tower, and then it could be like this, or you can make more pizza." And this is really good because from time to time the theme comes from the material you can use, and from time to time the material comes from the theme. Was that right? I guess so.
Yeah. Also, I'm just super curious. This game on the screen right now, I saw this at Spiel last year, and people were having so much fun. What is this game?
Oh, Marcus, you know that? I'm pretty sure it's my very first game.
I don't know.
That's an older one, though, I know.
You know what? Let's make it a little quiz. How about the chat?
If anybody in the chat knows this game, let me know. Because people at Spiel were having so much fun with this one. I wanted to see. I'll look for it later. But okay, next, maybe I'll go get my catalog and look for it.
Maybe. Yeah, Marcus and me were both quite new at HABA. It's about 1.5 years to 2 years. So maybe the old ones we don't really know yet. But yeah, we will research. Take and bake, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the time. No. Yeah. Why not? Why not? I mean, we have to hurry a bit. So this is a little quiz again. This is a prototype we got some years ago. This is, I think, nobody of you have ever seen this before. but maybe you've seen something that is a little similar.
I know what game this is. I'm not going to give it away.
So. I believe you.
Do you this game, just to be clear, this is the prototype you were sent, but this has been published. You did publish this game.
We did publish this game. This is a prototype we received from an author, and we felt like this is good.
Okay. So in the chat, if you have an idea, go ahead and post what game you think this is. And this game, it looks like there's witches in this prototype.
Exactly. It is Dragon's Breath. Exactly. In the original, it was called Merlin's Zauberkessel, which is if you translate it, it's Merlin's magic cauldron. And so it has a completely different theme. It had a completely different setup. And this is where us editors come in, and we feel like, okay, you know what, this game is really good. But then, so from time to time, you need to add something. From time to time, you need to get rid of something. And for example, here we had a walking track around the central board, and we felt like, no, we wanted to stress this. We need to put that focus on the dexterity aspect. We really wanted to get this. Then we felt like, okay, but we need to score points somewhere, and it would be good to not show the points. How can we do that? And then we came up with the idea of getting these into the box and making just little holes for each player. So this is a development process where you get the prototype, and over weeks and weeks you have the ideas, you test, you go back because there wasn't it, and this is just the best.
Yeah, lots of iteration and planning on this part. And then and that Dragon's Breath, if you're not familiar, Dragon's Breath won the 2018 Kinderspiel. And we did just, somebody guessed if it was the expansion, but we actually just released the expansion. And looking at the original picture of the prototype, there's actually, it looks like the cards that were in the expansion maybe actually started early in the prototype, so that you split them up into 2 games, which is...
Well, yeah, that's not so wrong. In the first game, there were these. There was already a tile collection aspect, which we took out, and yeah, after a huge success, we thought, okay, but there was more, and it was good. So now we have put a focus on the really good dexterity aspect, we can still enrich that.
Yeah. Okay.
And perhaps I add. Perhaps people might wonder, well, we had in the prototype, there were these nice wooden rings. And we as HABA, why did we get rid of these wooden rings and change to plastic rings?
But we come to this on the next slide.
Okay. So go for it, Robin.
Next slide.
No, you know what? Dude, go ahead, Marcus. Do it.
Is it on the next slide?
Yeah. No, I would tell it here on this slide. So, The reason for this is, wood is a very working material. So it's dependent how wet it is, and it gets bigger and smaller. But with the game, we wanted to ensure that you can build a tower out of the rings. So this is something you always have to consider. Yes, we have HABA and we are proud for the wood components, but sometimes we have to go away and see what else can we go for. And this decision came because of the mechanics. Okay, so these rings, these plastic rings, they stay in size. They are easily stacked. One onto the other, and so the wooden rings became plastic rings.
That makes sense, because if you had the wooden rings at a very humid climate, the wood would swell a little, and the tower wouldn't be super stable. And then, maybe at a dry climate, the wood would shrink a little, and it would maybe be more stable or less stable. It just really depends, because the wood would flex. So that makes sense. I hadn't thought of that. All right. Yeah, exactly. And the next picture, I love the next picture. Sorry, you showed the slideshow, and it's so cute. He's so excited.
And so exactly, we have the final game. I hope it is a lot of fun to all of you who play it. And this is how we we seek out the best option to get the stuff, to make the requests, to maybe go back the steps, and to put wood in it if we can, but also to put wood out if it doesn't make sense for the game.
Yeah. There was a comment that Abe Underhill says that they like that the plastic rings are transparent because it makes it where you can kind of see the crystals a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's another good like bonus of going to plastic.
It really is. And this is, for example, in here, for the material also gave a spin to the theme, because with these kind of materials, with these rings, we could really go with this ice column.
Yeah.
Without this transparency, this might have not been an ice column, but maybe more of a volcano or something.
So then, how do you calculate the price of the game, or the cost of the game, or the value, with the materials for that?
Yeah. So for the calculation, I have no calculations here because that would be boring for you. But for me, the calculations are a very fun part, because you think about, okay, what do I want to have in this game? What material do I want? And then you send out, we have the technical department. We go to the technical department and say, well, we want this and this and this. And they go out to the suppliers and get offers. And that's the very, that's very interesting, because you never are really sure before the offer is in, is it working? Okay, so is my dream of this game, can it work? And sometimes you have to, the calculations don't add up and you have to start again from scratch. So I showed you before this line of process, but in reality, it's not really a linear process, but you go back a lot of times and think about things again and again. And the calculations are part of this.
Yeah. So because when you all pick the size of the game and how kind of like what you want a target price to be, you have an idea in your head of how much you want the game to cost. And so you have to do math to say, okay, well, if we're going to charge €20 or $20 for the game, that means that it has to cost us no more than like $4 to make the game, maybe $5, $6, really depends, right? Just from like a material standpoint, like not including labor and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you have to say, okay, well, how much does it cost to get clear plastic rings with a little bit of a blue in them, right? Or how much does it cost for like white clear plastic rings and like that kind of stuff? So the
good thing is I always see that as two parts of a medallion, that the idea, the creativity of what do I want this to look reaches up to the sky, and we are told that get your imagination up and do whatever you want to do, and the calculation most of the time brings you back to the reality, back to the ground, and sees, oh, okay, so I can't do that, but I can do that. And then you kind of get into balance for a really good game that is producible.
Yeah, because it needs to be producible. It needs to make sense cost.
Yes, you can do the best game, but if it's not producible.
Yeah, and one of the great things about HABA is because you all make so many units of a game for the whole world, you can get some good deals on some of the materials because you're buying a lot of the materials at once. So that's another good part of HABA is you can do a lot of these interesting things with materials because you are manufacturing so many games. Whereas some publishers or some self-publishers that are doing Kickstarters and doing just their one game and they're only printing maybe 1,000 or something like that, it costs a little bit more like per material because they're not buying in such large quantities. So.
And we have a really great department for this.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to our department.
We're doing the thing again. We're going way over. We only have 13 minutes left.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's partially my fault.
No. I want to add something about the material. And the material also, the wood pieces are all made in our factory in Bad Rodach. So and all other parts like plastic rings and instruction manuals and paperboard and cards, we let them ship to our headquarters, and all games are packaged, or most of the games are packaged in our headquarters and sent out to the world.
Yeah, and you all just got a new box wrapping, a box closing, sealing, box packaging. It even puts them in the shipping boxes. I saw it. So yeah, a lot of, and you have the people that actually put the stuff in. It's very cool. So much stuff. At some point, I will release a video of the tour that I got. So yeah. Okay. Oh, 12 minutes left. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, really quick. Of course, a very, very important thing is illustration and design. And the illustrations, we reach out. And so when we have the theme, we reach out to illustrators and ask if they want to draw, to illustrate for our game. And of course, this is a very, very time-consuming process because you have to brief the illustrators, and some of the illustrators, like the they don't have any experience in game material illustrations, and that's a very tricky part because they have to get into the mindset of these tokens and how wide is the bleed on these tokens, and so they really have to understand the game a bit, so to make a good illustrations, to get a feel for the game. So a big part of our work is also then briefing these illustrators.
First thing you give to the illustrator is the first draft of the rule. You need to get him on board completely.
Yes.
But it leads to some really interesting, you all work really closely, and there's lots of repetition with the illustrators. And I like that. I actually was there once when you were going through your portfolio of illustrators. You were looking for some illustrators, and you have samples that you've seen either online or the illustrator submitted. And when you're looking for, the theme of the game, so you're looking for a specific, you have an idea of like the art style and what you want, and so you look at the portfolios and you say, oh, well, this illustrator or this one, and that was very interesting, as well as you don't just say, oh, I want this illustrator and I'll force them to do what I want to match the game. You look at illustrators and you look at their unique style, and you try and match an illustrator who has a style that you really like to use. And so I really like that you do that. You look for illustrators in a lot of different places, children's book illustrators, comic illustrators, board game illustrators. So
video game illustrators also. And you can find illustrators in all different topics, and we use the fairs also to look into other illustrations, or we are at book fairs also.
Book fairs, Comic-Cons, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. And how would you become an illustrator or part of the pool? Is there a submission for that, or Yeah, you can. So you can always send us your portfolio by mail, and we have a colleague who checks the portfolio, and then you get into our catalog. And before each run, when we select the illustrators, we look into our catalog and look, is there any illustrators we already work with, or a new illustrator we got into the catalog who fits the style to the game we imagine. So that's a good. So that's a good opportunity. Or book fairs. We also have appointments not only with authors, but also with illustrators. Yeah. And what about the title? How do we get to the title?
Okay, so let's skip something here.
This is great.
Okay.
So these are all new releases coming at Essen Spiel, by the way. Nice sneak preview here. I like how. Oh, and that's the U.S. Critter Cruise box. Oh,
right. Yeah, here's the image. Yes.
Oh, I haven't even gotten that image yet. Oh, and that's the U.S. Rhino Hero Junior box. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, and that's the German Hammer Time box. Curious. That's the German.
It is.
That's the German one. But that's the game. That's Hammer Time. I'm so excited. Okay.
Yes. And just you see here a bit the illustration style is of course different for the target group, age group.
Yeah.
So you have this very clear, easy shapes, very contrastful colors on the left with Rhino Hero Jr. And then on the right side of the spectrum, you have our family games with a lot of details. Different art styles, illustration styles in our range.
Yeah. They should. The family game illustration really have to catch your attention on other levels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
go.
Should we head on to the
Titles.
title?
Yes, Robin.
So every good game needs a title, and so we have from time to time we make a date then, and we have an appointment, and then all the team sits together and think about, okay, how should we name it? We do collective brainstorming in the first place. So we say, look, this is the game we selected. It might have this theme. It might look like this, and then it's just give ideas. Mostly you already set a mood with this. So mostly it is in there. It all goes in the very same direction. From time to time, you have from time to time someone says a word where you feel like, oh yeah, I could really go on with this. This is good for a title. From time to time, there's just a lot of play on words. I mean, we all love those. Those work perfectly.
Sorry. Someone found the name of the game I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's
Pustekuchen.
Pustekuchen. Puff pastries.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
I know that.
Speaking of titles.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in general, we are looking for short titles that have a really good sound, that are unique. You have not heard something like this before, and if it's possible, you want to do it internationally, or you can just make something up. For example, Karuba is just a game we I think it's Karuba everywhere.
Yeah.
We never changed the name anywhere, and we are really happy with this because this sounds good, it's unique, and everyone knows what we're talking about, even though it's a made-up name.
Yeah. Karuba's a great example. Socken, Rhino Hero, but there's so many great questions about titles. I'm sorry, everybody in the chat, we're so low on time, but titles are really good. Do you ever check if the name means something bad in a foreign language? That's actually a great question. And the answer is yes. So how do we check for when we talk about titles and what the title will be in the other languages?
Yeah, of course you make a Google search first if the name is even available. So perhaps you come out with good names, but then you check and see, oh no, it's already taken from another game or book or whatever. And we have a legal department who does this, who checks the name. And we are in contact with Tiffany, and we brainstorm then together. Or Tiffany makes suggestions what this game title is in English.
Hammer Time!
Hammer Time! Yeah, so part of what the next step is instructions. And so when we start getting into the instructions phase and the title phase, that's where actually I get more involved, because you all make the instructions in German and you work on those, and then you send them out to the translation team. And the translation team translates the titles, and then they send them for final proofreading and editing to all the different country managers in all the different countries that the game would potentially be sold, right? And so for English, I get sent the files for everything in English. And part of that is the title. So at this stage, often I'll be sent the title for the game. So I believe, what was the English name suggestion that you all had for Hammer Time? I can't even remember what it was. Smash It?
Smash It, yeah, it could be, or Throw It, Throw Away. No, I think Smash It.
I think it was Smash It. Yeah, and Smash It made me think in my head with the game, when I played Hammer Time the first time, I smashed it, and that was not how you were supposed to play the game. And also, Smash It is kind of similar to Smash Up, which is a very popular game here in the US. And so I thought, I sat and I brainstormed titles, and I did some Googling, and I was just like, I just want to call it Hammer Time. Can I call it Hammer Time? Am I allowed to call it Hammer Time? And I did some Googling and some stuff, and there's no games called Hammer Time. And we had to look into some legal stuff on like copyright and things like that, and it totally worked. And so now that's why it's called Hammer Time. So yeah.
Okay, we wrap things up.
Yes.
Instructions is not. We will just go over this quite quickly. This is also our job. After we have a title and an illustration and materials done, of course we need to write a rule book. This is also our job. So we think about a small background story. We make the final rules. Go over all the little things you could forget by playing. And after that, our text department looks over it if it's all smooth and correct. And then we come to packaging. Markus, final thoughts.
Yeah, so we already talked a bit about the packaging. So we have these different lines. So we have the children line, we have the buy very first games, we have special editions like the Animal Christmas edition, we have our family line, and of course most people think, when they think about HABA, they think about the yellow boxes.
Yeah.
And that's a good and sometimes a bad thing for us, because we are really proud for the yellow boxes and everybody recognizes us, but we have a quite hard time with our family games because we want to separate them a bit from our children games.
Yeah.
And because of that, we didn't make them yellow in the box, but made full illustrations on all sides to say to the world, well, here we are making also family games, not only children games.
Yes, and just as a clarification, in the US, we call those not family games. We call those our strategy line or our family strategy line, or the game night approved games on the side of the box. So like Miyabi, Honga, Karuba. The key Modern Octel Club is actually not in the US yet, but it will be next year. That's another one of our sneak peeks of something coming soon. So yeah. Awesome. Anything last second? We got to wrap it up and go play Karuba.
Oh no! We have no questions. I have much to say, but
I know we could have done 2 hours.
Questions?
Yeah, we're so sorry.
Easily.
Yeah,
we can't answer all the questions right now. We took too long again. Maybe we just need to come back next year.
Oh, yes, definitely. But also, we can answer some of these questions in the Karuba play-along stream. So actually, we are going to be doing a Karuba play-along stream next, and it's actually, we're supposed to be starting right now, but we're going to shut this stream down. We're going to change some stuff, get the Karuba going, and then we will be back to play Karuba. We'll only be down for a second. So if you are interested in playing Karuba with us, you can go to the link on the screen to get the print and play file, or join the Discord and get into a Tabletopia room with us. I'll talk about that over in the Karuba stream when we jump there. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming and watching our HABA Games Development behind the scenes Q&A. We had the process is so involved. There's so much great stuff, so many interesting facts. If you have questions, if you're watching in the future, please leave a comment on the YouTube video and I will do my best to answer them, or I will have Markus and Robin answer them. I'll just shoot them an email and we'll see if we can get those questions answered in the future. If you have questions right now and they're burning a hole inside your heart, come to the Karuba play along and we will do our best to play Karuba and keep talking about HABA development and how it works. So thank you, everybody. Again, thank you, Markus and Robin, for this behind-the-scenes peek. This is great. I think we should do this again, maybe at Spiel Digital. Talk about some stuff. Yeah.
Thanks for 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll do like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So awesome. All right. thank you again, everybody. If you want to play Karuba, stick around. Just stay in the chat. If you're on Twitch, on YouTube, you'll have to go to the next live stream. Sorry about that. But we will see you all over there. And otherwise, we will see you in the future if you're watching this recorded. So yeah, thanks and bye, everyone.
Thanks and bye.
Bye.